Let's take a look at a key case in criminal law. This is the case of Attorney General's Reference number 3 of 1994, 1998. Whenever you see a case which says Attorney General's Reference, this means that the case was referred to the appeal courts by the Attorney General, following the outcome in the original trial. An Attorney General's reference case is seeking to establish a ruling upon a particular point of law that was referenced in the original case. The ruling by the appeal court does not necessarily change the outcome in the original case. It rather establishes a clear point of law and authority by an appeal court on that particular point. Let's take a look at the facts of this case. In this case, the defendant stabbed his girlfriend, who he knew was pregnant at the time with his child. She was around 22 to 24 weeks pregnant. The defendant clearly had intention to cause grievous bodily harm to the mother, but via the act the fetus appeared to be unharmed. 17 days after the stabbing, the victim went into what was described as grossly premature labour, and whilst the baby was born alive and did survive for 121 days, the baby sadly died as a result of being born prematurely, and it was clear that the premature birth was caused by the stabbing that the woman had suffered. The defendant was prosecuted for the murder of the unborn child, for which he was acquitted following a direction by the trial judge. There was no typical outcome in this case, as the appeal courts were merely reviewing a point of law, so the outcome did not amend the original case. However, what the courts did in this case was give us a detailed explanation of how the law of murder would operate in this scenario. So it has long been established as a principle of murder that the victim must be a reasonable creature in being. And further, it is long established and not in dispute that a fetus is not a reasonable creature in being. Now this means if a fetus is harmed while still in the womb and dies as a result of that injury, that cannot be the actus reus of murder because the victim is not a reasonable creature in being. This set of circumstances, however, provided a more complicated set of facts. When the initial act occurred, the victim was in utero, the baby was still within the womb of the mother. However, it then caused the baby to be born prematurely, and the baby then died as a result of those premature actions. So really interestingly, in this case, the judges clearly state in their judgment that actually in these circumstances, both the actus reus of murder and manslaughter could be proved in relation to the fetus, because at the time that their death was caused, they were a reasonable creature in being. Instead, it was upon the basis of transferred malice and mens rea that murder could not be proved in these circumstances. So the court held that transferred malice will only be available and apply where the mens rea of one crime applies and transfers to the actus reus of the same crime. In this case, they held that the mens rea of murder in relation to the mother, of intention to do serious harm, could not transfer to the actus reus of causing the death of the baby, because the actus reus of causing the death of a fetus cannot be proved as murder. So the courts held that you cannot transfer the mens rea of the intention to harm the mother, a living being, to intention to harm the fetus at the time of the act. It cannot transfer to an organism that is not capable of being murdered. However, the court did hold that the elements of manslaughter could be proved in these circumstances.